Here are 7 reasons why I think you should start a freeze drying business. And if you already started one, maybe this will reinforce the fact that you need to continue going. And stick around to the very end of this video because I'm going to share with you some extra tips and advice to get you started. Hey, welcome back to the Freeze Dry Business channel. My name is David. I'm an owner of a freeze drying business in Idaho. I've been running my business for about 3 years. I've learned a lot of different things, made some mistakes, also had some success along the way. And right now I currently run a very sustainable part-time freeze drying business. Now in today's video, I'm going to share with you 7 reasons why I think you should start a freeze drying business because of what I've found through the past 3 years of running this business. Now, the first reason you should start a freeze drying business is if you're looking for flexibility with your full-time job, where you can start navigating through a startup business, this is the type of industry and the type of business for you to look at. Also, you can easily run this as a part-time business or something that's just a side hustle, whatever works for you. I found that it's a very flexible business. Now, reason number 2 to start a freeze drying business is convenience. As a cottage food operator, I ran this business out of my home for the first 2 years. It was really convenient to go out to my garage, put in new candy, wipe the trays, get new candy started, get new types of strawberries and blueberries and all types of different things started in the freeze dryer, and I could completely do it out of my garage. Also, I could do it out of my home if you have some type of climate controlled room. So it's really convenient to be able to just run this. Even if you have a part-time job or you have something that's tying you down, you can run it whenever you have the time, which is really, really nice and flexible, and you don't have to expend the type of time and energy and money to go get a lease space to start this type of business. And the third reason is it's very low barrier to entry. You really don't need to know a ton of stuff about freeze drying. The freeze dryers nowadays, and as it's even getting better with more and more freeze drying manufacturers, it's really just a monkey on a string. You can just press the button, it freeze dries it for you. It does all the drying and the freezing all for you. In fact, there's a lot of different recipes and things that Harvest Right, to Stay Fresh, to Blue Alpine, to also the Cube from Prep for Life. All these different freeze dryer manufacturers that I just mentioned provide different recipes for you to know exactly how to do that. You can even go on to some of my videos and check out how to do certain candies and fruits. So it's really very easy to start this type of business, and you don't need to have a whole lot of expertise on freeze drying to do it. Now, reason number 4 has been a really fun part. It's the creativity. You can have a lot of different diversification of different products that you can start selling right out of the gate. If you want to take a look at one of my videos that I did very early on, it was the top selling products that I thought people should start freeze drying as a freeze drying business. That's everything from candy that works really well, that's cheap, inexpensive, but also quick run times, as well as some strawberries and blueberries and different types of fruits that I found to be most successful. And also, if it's possible to do ice cream under cottage food law in your state, it would be awesome to be able to provide that as an additional type of product. It was available when I first started, but now Idaho has changed the cottage food law to where you can't do any dairy products, so you have to run out of a commercial kitchen, which is what I do today. But just know that the variety of different products that you can freeze dry really opens the door for you to be creative. I've even seen people running freeze drying businesses through freeze drying pet food, freeze drying breast milk, all that type of stuff. It's very creative. Get out there, do some research, and you'll be surprised at the type of products you can offer your customers. Now, number 5 is multiple ways for you to make money through this. And that's valuable because you're not just restricted through certain avenues. You can go through, one I have is markets, shows, boutiques. You can go through those different channels because it's direct to consumer, especially in the cottage food side of things. And in cottage food, some states still allow you to run through a website. So you can have online orders, drive a bunch of traffic through social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can have those stores and those shops that they have on their platforms, and you can sell directly all of your different products and make a side little income through that. Also, if you have a commercial kitchen like I do, you can open yourself up to wholesale orders. And wholesale just means you're gonna offer a discount for upfront pricing where they control the type of sale to the customer. And that makes it kind of nice because one, you get usually all the order up front as well as the payment, but you also get the exposure from those stores that are selling your product on their stands. So it makes it really nice to kind of grow your brand as well. And another unique way to make money on the freeze drying business is going through events and catering. Think about weddings, think about elementary schools, think about different parties and anniversaries, all that type of thing. You can provide a unique snack, unique treat, all those different places. And it's also direct to consumer. So as cottage food, that can really open up the door. So a lot of different ways for you to make money starting out. These are just a few. Hey, reason number 6 to start a freeze drying business is it's a lot of fun. A couple things I've got listed here is I've met a lot of great people along the way. I've met people that are in the freeze drying business right now. I've started this YouTube channel, which has really opened the door for me. But even as I was starting out in cottage food, I met people who were looking for unique local products, from shop owners to people who are distributors of produce stands. I've also learned a lot of unique things about the freeze drying business. There's so many different things that you can learn about food preservation. Also, you get to learn how to run a business. You also get to learn the process of running a food business very cheaply and inexpensively. And it's a really fun product right now. Think about all the fun things that you're seeing out there right now. If you just are starting out or if you're not yet started, man, freeze drying milk duds, freeze drying lemon heads. Whoever thought that using a freeze dryer to change the form and texture of candy would be such a huge hit? I think this is a really fun business. There's just so many different ways for you to learn about the freeze drying process, to learning about the business. So the number 6 reason is it's just a lot of fun. And if you're a fun person, I'd suggest you get into it. And the last reason to start a freeze drying business is there is a lot of good that you're doing by having a freeze drying business. Here are some of the benefits that I wrote down. One is you're reducing food waste. Think about some of the produce, from vegetables to fruit, that type of thing that you're buying from these grocery stores or you're buying from the local produce stand, that it's gonna go to waste. It might go to the food pantry, it might go to the food bank, things like that, but you are preserving food that might have gone to waste. And I think that that's really intrinsically valuable for all of us to understand and know that we're doing, even if you have 1 freeze dryer to 12 freeze dryers. Now, the other part of that is you're growing the local economy. You're starting a business. You're putting things out there in the marketplace for people to enjoy. You're transacting, you're creating state tax revenue. You're creating more commerce for local people to enjoy being in the city, the state, the county that you're in. Also, this gives you a sense of purpose. This business is awesome. I love doing this type of business. It's super sustainable for me. I've grown it to be a 5-6 freeze dryer type of business to now I just run a couple of freeze dryers because that's all I really want to be able to handle right now. And so you can have and define purpose in your life, as well as purpose in your entrepreneurial spirit, and your purpose in your job can be fulfilled through having a freeze drying business. So what would I suggest for some tips for you to start a freeze drying business off the gate? I'm going to give you a couple. One is for freeze dryers. What type of freeze dryer should you buy? Well, I've had Harvest Rate for the past 3 years. I've had the large Harvest Rate. I've got stainless steel. I've got the black one. I haven't yet been able to purchase the extra large, but I am looking at buying that. I would suggest, if you're going to start a freeze drying business, suggest going with the Harvest Rate large. You don't need the extra large yet. And the reason I say that is because it does pump out a lot of product, but you're just growing your business, so you don't need to do that yet. And I just don't see why you need something that runs that much product to be running for starting out on a freeze dry business. And you're not going to go wrong using a large freeze dryer and then having the XL or trading in or selling it, something like that later on. Now, also, I do have a Stay Fresh freeze dryer. I just bought that. Now, even though I have the Stay Fresh freeze dryer, I haven't put out too many videos other than the unboxing video, just because it's been extremely hot in Boise, Idaho. It's been in the hundreds all throughout July and even the 1st of August. So I've been kind of waiting to do full loads with video and things like that until it gets a little bit cooler. But the Stay Fresh, I found so far, the technology has been great. I haven't had any error messages. I really like the sound of the pump. It's not as loud as the standard pump that I'm used to with the Harvest Rite. Now, the Harvest Rite does have a premium pump now, which is a lot more quieter. So it's about comparable to that, which I really liked. But I really like on Stay Fresh, they have this temperature probe, and you can put it in different food that is not yet frozen, and it'll actually detect moisture activity in that food on one of the trays, which makes it actually really nice to be able to know whether your food is dried and it's all gone through that process. So what I would suggest starting out, again, I'd suggest the Harvest Right large freeze dryer. I'd also suggest even the Stay Fresh, just because it's kind of in between a medium Harvest Right and a large Harvest Right freeze dryer. It also has a little bit more durable products. I really like the stainless steel side of things, and it's about the same size. And I think it can do just as much type of power and production. And there's a little bit more consistency without having any errors with the pump and the vacuum, things like that with the Stay Fresh so far. So if you're looking to buy one of those freeze dryers, you can use the referral link below for Harvest Right or Stay Fresh. Now, my second piece of advice, if you're dedicated to investing in that freeze dryer, now you need to move on to actually putting together a business plan. Now, the business plan doesn't have to be super lengthy with 20 or 30 pages. Just put down some notes. Who are you going to target? How are you going to start selling? Are you going to use some of the methods that I mentioned in this video? Do you have other ways to reach customers? Try to pinpoint those ways that you can quickly start selling so that when you get the freeze dryer and you start learning how to freeze dry the Skittles, the candy, the ice cream, the fruit, all of that, you can immediately start selling it and start getting a return on your investment. The third thing that I would suggest is creating some social media pages or a website. I think you should have them both, to be honest, but you do need to start creating that as you're waiting for that freeze dryer to arrive. So have your name, have the LLC registered, as well as getting a logo, your content, as well as all those Facebook and social media pages that you can build so that you can start immediately marketing. Now, if you're interested in any more videos about freeze drying, I've got a plethora of content and videos on my YouTube channel. Check them out, as well as hit the subscribe button. Then you'll be notified when I produce a new video, or I put out a short, or I put out a new post that is valuable for you and your freeze drying business. Thanks a lot. We'll see you again next time on the Freeze Dry Business channel. Cheers.